Sometime in the future, a mercenary named Toorop is seen preparing a decent meal for dinner. When just about getting ready to eat, a bunch of armed soldiers infiltrate his house with one goal: to capture him. Toorop knocks out the team leader to obtain information about who sent them. He fearlessly grips the leader at gunpoint before his entire team and eventually kills him. Toorop is escorted outside to a waiting tank where he meets a Russian mobster named Gorsky. Toorop makes it clear that no trust lies between them, but Gorsky insists that this isn't about trust. He proposes a contract, instructing Toorop to escort a young woman named Aurora to New York. Toorop is given a device to inject in his neck when he crosses the official border of the U.S. To bypass security hitches unknown to him that the device is trackable. Toorop states that he'll do it for $500,000, after which he accepts the contract. When he gets out of the tank, a helicopter picks him up using a car firmly attached to the aircraft as it flies away, arriving at Mongolia, in a strange location which ordinarily seems like an old abandoned convent. While waiting patiently, Sister Rebeka, a guardian nun of Aurora, introduces herself, laying down security measures they must adopt, which includes her constant presence with Aurora and less contact with the outside world while they travel across Russia to reach America. After a brief conversation, she leaves and later returns to the car with Aurora, who continues making eye contact with Toorop. She is forced to ask for his name and several other questions. Then he makes it clear that in 6 days he will deliver her to New York and never see her again. Toorop gets into the vehicle, and they drive away from the Noelite Convent in Mongolia where they lived. Aurora has never traveled so far out before. They arrive Troitsky, Kazakhstan, a Russian border town, as Aurora notices that most of the towns and cities of Russia have been turned into overpopulated slums. They come to a stop, and Toorop pulls up the rear of the car, revealing military-grade weapons given to him by Gorsky to ensure his protection and that of his objectives. They make their way through the town unknown to them, that they have fallen into the radar of an unknown group of mercenaries who clearly identify them by name. Their goal is to cross the border, but there's just too many people who want the same thing. The crowd causes Aurora to freak out, and amidst the struggle, she gets claustrophobic, seeming to know what will happen next, so she takes off running as Rebeka chases after her. Toorop joins in the pursuit, and the mercenaries begin to chase them as well. Aurora warns Toorop and Rebeka to stay off the crowd or die, and shortly after, a massive bomb goes off, killing thousands of people who were just trying to get across the Russian border. It's a disastrous mess, but there are some survivors spotted on the ground as Toorop takes them across to board a train which immediately takes off, leaving a city ravaged by war and terrorist activities. The trio arrive at Vladivostok, a refugee camp in Russia, where they are searched and let through into what seems like a fighting event. Toorop is looking for a contact while the unknown mercenaries continue to track them. He finds his contact, whom he requests 3 passes on a boat, including 2 snow bikes on the other side of the U.S. border. He informs Rebeka that his contact is an old friend and a good smuggler who can help them. They are immediately obstructed by the unknown group of mercenaries, who claim that they have been sent by Aurora's supposedly dead father to retrieve her. They even offer him 1 million tax-free cash for him to ditch the ladies, but he throws the money in the air, using the distraction to escape as they vehemently chase them down. Surprisingly, Sister Rebeka joins Toorop in combat as they take out a few of the mercenaries, during which Aurora is kidnapped and taken away but is shockingly rescued by the beast of a fighter inside the cage. He checks if she's okay when Toorop barges into the cage, and the fighter mistakes him for one of her pursuers and begins to fight Toorop. The crowd loves the show as the big guy overpowers Toorop, but not for long as he gets back up and attempts to strangle the tough guy despite Aurora screaming at him to stop. But Toorop ends up killing the fighter. When the mercenaries claim that her father sent them, Aurora agrees to go with them. Toorop shoots at one of them and threatens to kill them all, after which Aurora grudgingly comes back to Rebeka and Toorop. A bunch of refugees are spotted on the ice, and a short while after, a gigantic submarine arises from the ice and they begin to run towards it, climbing onto the provided ropes to board the vessel. While the trio fight to get into the submarine, it becomes obvious that there are too many refugees to take at once, so they are forced to leave some behind, even at the cost of shooting some persons as the vessel submerges. Aurora, who makes it inside, is greatly infuriated by the loss of life and shouts at the crew members to let the people in, but to no avail. During their travel underwater, Rebeka reveals to Toorop how her life was meaningless before she joined the convent, a haven for women who needed to heal. She worked in the orphanage where she met Aurora as a little baby with no parents, so she cared for her like her own, until 3 months ago when a doctor came and gave Aurora a pill during a 10 minutes meeting, after which days went by and Aurora slowly started to change, but nothing as violent as earlier on when she grabbed a gun threatening to shoot if the refugees are not rescued. During the chaos, Aurora suddenly knew how to operate the 30-year-old submarine without having ever learned about it. Toorop questions the possibility of this, and is made to understand that Aurora has always known things that she never experienced, especially being able to speak 19 different languages at the age of 2. Nobody but the doctor knows about this, and he told Rebeka to keep it a secret to protect Aurora. He told them that Aurora would get the best medical help in America. Still underwater, Toorop's smuggling contact reveals to him that Aurora is carrying a weapon inside of her, and that she is worth a lot of money, but Toorop replies saying that if she is carrying a virus, he would kill her himself and burn the body. They arrive Bering Strait, Alaska military zone on snowbikes where they are immediately spotted by military drones which unleash missiles at them in a bid to prevent them from trespassing. The pursuit continues, as Toorop skillfully evades multiple missiles fired at him, while creating a distraction for his smuggler friend to take the ladies to safety. Toorop is hit after trying to rescue them from a hot missile, though not dead but not reacting and is quickly bleeding to death. While Aurora tends to his injuries, his contact snitches on them but is taken out by Toorop, who regains consciousness right on time to rescue them. Later that night, Aurora approaches Toorop asking why he is risking his life for her. He states that she is his only chance out of all the killings, pain and war. He wants to go to 27 Cedar Grove near Canada, upstate New York, where his parents had a farm resembling a cabin with a lot of land which is probably in ruins, but he intends to fix it up. They arrive at a motel where Toorop just steps out of the bathroom to find Aurora behind him, staring. She is about kissing him when Rebeka comes in, notifying them that the bus leaves in 30 minutes. Hours later, the trio board a flight to New York City, after which they board a taxi to a hotel where Aurora goes into shock, saying they are all dead while looking at a large screen. Immediately, a news broadcast about the bombing of the convent that Aurora and Rebeka came from causes the group to realize the existence of a deep, sinister plan different from their expectations. The convent was struck by a missile late last night, and when a call comes in, Toorop discovers that Gorsky, working for the Noelites, has planted a tracking device in his passport and then bombed the convent when he knew they were in America. Looking out the window, it's a whole swarm of armed men, patiently waiting as the doctor who earlier saw Aurora in the convent arrives their apartment asking for her. He quickly examines her, after which he proceeds to leave, but Toorop intercepts him, asking what is wrong with Aurora. Rebeka pleads with him to let the doctor leave, after which Aurora reveals to them that she is pregnant with twins, but Rebeka thinks it's not possible since she has been there all her life and has never been touched by anyone. Aurora tells Toorop that they just want her babies. A call comes in, and it's the Noelite Church CEO who instructs him to bring Aurora to the limousine, and his mission is accomplished. Both Gorsky's men and the Noelite group are spotted outside, heavily armed and waiting for them, all to guarantee her delivery to the CEO. Toorop takes the women outside, and without a choice other than to deliver Aurora, he changes his mind and opens fire at both forces, determined to get both women to safety. Aurora thanks Toorop as they prepare to go into the subway, but Gorsky's men fire a missile at Toorop, a rocket linked to his passport which Gorsky had been tracking all these while. The missile can only be stopped by death. As he takes them into the subway, the missile zooms past Aurora and Rebeka, headed for Toorop, who strategically changes the target of the missile using a vehicle, leaving them thinking that he is dead. Now all alone, with the mercenaries closing in, Toorop arises after the explosion and begins to take out the men while Aurora walks majestically amidst the chaos. Unfortunately, Rebeka is shot and killed defending Aurora. Another missile is launched at Toorop as he gets to Aurora, who shoots him, saying, "I need you to live." The rocket strikes, apparently killing them both. After being dead for 2 hours, Toorop is revived by Dr. Arthur Darkwandir, using advanced medical techniques, replacing parts of his body with cybernetics. The doctor, who Toorop thought was dead, tells him that when Aurora was a fetus, he was sent by the Noelite group to genetically enhance her using a supercomputer to implant superior intelligence in her brain. This also implies that they equally used the doctor to create her pregnancy in order to use her as a virgin birth to legitimize their religion. After the birth of Aurora, they had him assassinated, or so they thought, but he remained dead until he found his daughter in Russia with Toorop. The doctor accesses Toorop's final memories before death, where he hears Aurora instruct him to go home. He encourages Toorop to take some of his men to find Aurora before the Noelites do. Gorsky is seen demanding his money from the Noelite CEO, during which a missile is targeted at him, destroying Gorsky. The CEO eventually finds Dr. Arthur, and from their conversation it is revealed that Aurora is their daughter. She demands for her daughter, whom he claims to have designed for her, and for religious purposes. The CEO kills him, and they go after Toorop, who knows where Aurora is, exactly at 27 Cedar Grove, the address of his family's property, and on his arrival, he finds her and takes her away. Toorop takes her to a safe place where she gives birth to twins, and just before she dies, she tells him that he is their father. Toorop raises both children who happen to be of two different races. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay updated for more content like this. Thanks for watching.